The real interesting story of this whole place, though, kind of rises and falls on COVID. Ninja gyms were popping up.
What does success mean to you?
Pushing the risk button. We live in a bit of a culture that is so fearful of stepping out and doing hard things.
When in the journey of being in this location and things going well, do you decide, this is working out great, now why don't we look at West Kelowna, Vernon, Fraser Valley? When do you make those decisions as a business owner to expand and take on more leases and more risks?
Some of it is obviously just pushing the risk button, Others is we're forced to. So for example, in our West Kelowna location, we had about 150 kids driving, across the bridge.
Oh, okay.
And again, knowing our demographic here, about 70% of people in West Kelowna work in Kelowna. So for them to drive home, pick their kid up, and drive back over the bridge, it was very problematic. So they said, hey, when are you going to come to West Kelowna? When are you coming? So we basically took our base of those kids and moved to our location there. Ironically, we're trying to build a facility over there. It's been years in the making, and we're in process, but hopefully that will take place in the next little while.
Thanks so much for tuning in this week to our Journeys of Success podcast. The best way that you can help us out if you're enjoying this content is please like and subscribe to the channel, and feel free to share it with friends and family or social media. Help us get the word out.
A little bit similar in the Vernon situation. The real interesting story of this whole place, though, kind of rises and falls on COVID. And I love to tell this story.
Yeah, please do.
Because in COVID, just 2 weeks before COVID started, we were about ready to just really expand our parkour program by adding this ninja component. That was kind of starting in the States, and it became very popular with the introduction to the TV show American Ninja Warrior. Ninja gyms were popping up, and we were saying, hey, well, is that something that kind of fits our physical development? Could it be a good marriage with parkour? So we had put a deposit down on equipment to expand our parkour program to include ninja. And then everything shut down. The thing about COVID was you didn't know how long it was going to last. So we said, oh, it'll last a few weeks, right? Then it was like, well, maybe one more month, right? And so the challenge that we had, which was very real, was that we had to keep paying our rent during this time.
Mm-hmm.
And if you recall, the government had an arrangement with landlords if the landlord chose to, that they would give some rent reduction and that sort of thing. Well, we didn't have that opportunity in our locations to do that. So we kept paying rent with no revenue coming in. And we did it 1 month and 2 months, and it's like, okay, well, how long can we do this, right? We're draining our savings. We had saved up enough for this ninja program. And so we were able to secure some funds through the government. They were giving lots of money out at that time for loans. And so we were looking for some used equipment, particularly with our program expanding. And there was a gym in the lower mainland of Vancouver. 9 gyms went under during COVID, all owned by this one gentleman. And he was selling off a lot of equipment. So we were looking, hey, we need some more equipment. So we were going down there, buying up used mats and that sort of thing. And he said, hey, I have this gym in Chilliwack. Do you want it? And I went, well, I don't know anybody in Chilliwack. He says, no, go look at it. Go look at it. We looked at it. It was in a building that had no windows. It had very little parking. And so, but all the equipment was new, and all the staff were still wanting to work. And we made an offer that said, hey, if your staff come with us, if we can get the equipment and we can move, remember this is during COVID, if we can move in 2 months, we'll do it. And all of that fell into place. And we were able to secure a really good location. We started with 70 students. Yeah, we have over 1,000 there today.
Wow.
So it was one of those things where COVID just about ruined us, sank us. And yet we're here because of it.
Yeah.
So it's it's hard thing to talk about. But it was, a positive for us, right?
Yeah.
And the other unique part about COVID was we were one of the only activities allowed to open when it first started to open up. Why they chose gymnastics, there was no volleyball, there was no basketball. A lot of the team sports were not allowed to operate, but we were allowed to do that. To reflect back on how we did that, I don't know. Keeping 5-year-olds socially distanced, right, on carpets and that sort of thing was,
oh, that's amazing.
Quite amazing. But anyway, that's a little bit of our journey that really propelled us into adding the other location in Fraser Valley, but also Ninja. And we're very excited about Ninja. It's one of those activities that's easy entry. And that's the beautiful part about it. You can start off day one and be able to do something. Not so much in parkour or gymnastics, right? It takes a little bit more of training and introduction into skills. Where Ninja, you can start to, swing and do the obstacles, and they're hard, but at least you can attempt it. So that's a little bit of our journey to where we are today. Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I see is you have all these various locations. You employ, I read somewhere up to 30 people right now. Is that correct?
We have almost 100.
Almost 100. Oh, okay. I don't know where I was looking my numbers at, but yeah. So you employ 100 people. Yeah. And how many kids annually would go through and utilize your services on roughly?
Throughout the year, we maintain about 2,800 kids. But, maybe that represents about 3,500 kids over the course of the year.
Yeah.
Right. I was reflecting over the 13 years we've been operating. We've hit almost 20,000 kids.
20,000. Wow. You've
come through our programs.
Touched a lot of lives.
Yeah.
How does that feel?
Well, great. I hope that we've made a significant difference and really changed the trajectory of their physical development. We live in a society that talks about the need for movement, but we don't really seem to value that strong enough in our kids and really building that foundation in our kids. The average school now maybe does PE twice a week for about 40 minutes. There's a couple of schools in our city that they do PE once a week for 40 minutes because they're so big they don't have the opportunity to use the gym. To me, that's tragic. Now, that's movement, which is good, right? But we're talking about physical development, which requires far more time and focus, challenge. Your body doesn't develop those proper physical skills, the gross motor skills, unless there's challenge. While they're doing some movement in schools with running and exercise, we just really would love more of a focus on that physical development piece. Gymnastics and parkour really provide. And so that's really kind of our continued focus.
This podcast is a collaboration of 3 independent filmmakers who are just really passionate about storytelling. And right now we're self-funding this. So if you'd like to help us out to tell other people's stories, please consider donation to our Ko-fi fund. And if you know someone who you think is really successful that we should showcase on one of our future episodes, send us a private message and we'll follow up with you. And who knows, maybe your favorite person in the community will be highlighted next. So our podcast, it's called The Journeys of Success. And we're exploring conversations with people like yourself to really find out, well, what does success mean to you? And it could be business related, non-business related. I'm curious, what does it mean to you and where do you feel successful in your life right now?
Yeah, that's That's a very broad question, right? I think success is always focused down onto those kind of essential elements. For us, in particularly with our coaches, we really try to drive home making those memorable moments happen in kids' lives, where they get a skill for the first time, and we celebrate that. In fact, that's one of our key values. We call it joy and achievement.
Nice.
And we have to be the ones as adults, as the coaches, to celebrate their achievement. Real achievement, not just participation, but real hard work and valued skill. So to me, that's hearing those stories and seeing those light bulbs go on in kids, and then they get addicted to more achievement, more achievement, more achievement. So that's a big part of what motivates me and keeps me going, and hearing those stories of their success. We have some of our athletes going to the Western Championships in gymnastics, and they've qualified for the national championships. A couple of our boys are going to go to the national championships. I think that's the first time any Kelowna male athletes in gymnastics have ever gone to the nationals, right?
Wow.
So we're seeing that level of success at that high competitive level as well. But we like to celebrate preschoolers' success all the way up to those higher level elite athletes.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I love even hearing that terminology, like when we celebrate people.
That's what it's about. And it's difficult because often kids get celebrated for things that maybe they shouldn't be celebrated for. What I mean by that particularly is that we've gone kind of through a societal time where we just celebrate minimal effort or their participation. And while there's some value in that, they don't really get the intrinsic reward of hard work. And they know that they put hard work into it, and then they have the achievement. That propels them onto harder and harder things. Right? That's the nature of what we do. We challenge kids, and that resilience springboards into the rest of their life. So,
I'm curious, in your lifetime, did you have a mentor or a teacher who had a giant impact on you? And if so, who were they, and what was it they said or did that really inspired you?
Yeah, I think, being involved in sport for so many years, so many decades, I reflect back on those coaches that were so formative in my development, and just really challenged me and believed in me. I wasn't a super talented athlete. I had to really, really work hard. I wasn't naturally strong. I wasn't naturally flexible. But my coaches just didn't care. They just saw that I was consistent and dedicated, and they were willing to work with me. And so that to me is the piece that has always stuck with me. Is, it's great to have talented kids, and it's fun to work with talented kids, but it's more important to take kids that are willing and dedicated, and take them as far as they can go.
Let's say that there's someone who, in this moment in time, is in similar shoes to where you were, going back in time in that moment where you pulled the trigger to start your very first gymnastics center. But this person they're scared, and they're just not sure if this is the right thing. And what would you say to that person?
And, over the last few years, maybe since COVID, we have never been faced with more opportunities. I look back in the decades prior, and I don't remember the number of opportunities that we do have today. We have so many opportunities. We can't even meet all the opportunities here. So I would say, do some homework You never can do enough homework, but do some homework, right? And pull the trigger. Go for it. Step out into opportunity, because it's sometimes it's so loaded on finances. We're so concerned that the financial picture is going to be able to work and it succeed. But I find that often that's a secondary thing. We have to make the people side of things work. And when we get that right, the finances will take care of themselves.
I want to jump back just real quick. When you were talking about the struggle part and getting through COVID and not knowing when things are going to bounce back, what did you have to do in order to mentally get through those times and arrive to a place of, I don't know if it's trust or just begging that things are going to work out? You tell me, how did you get through the really hard times of being a business owner?
Personally, I'm a person of faith, so that was the bedrock for me. I'd like to always tell the good side of things, but the tough times were you just work your tail off, right? I remember the number of hours I was in here during COVID. We basically remodeled this place in COVID. Because we couldn't stand idle. We had to do something. So we cleaned and we painted and we fixed and we moved things around in preparation for. The key things too is continue to apply what you know today. Just do what you know today and do that next right thing.
And I appreciate that when we have these conversations, it's nice to focus on the positives or the learnings. Sometimes I feel like a lot of those learnings come in those moments of struggle, and that's sometimes what expands us the most.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And yet, you reflect back, you go, oh, I wish I would have done that differently. I wish I could have spent more time with my family, spent more time in relationships or friendships and not been so focused on the business, right?
Yeah.
And so those are hard things to process as well. But you go through those hardships. They make you or break you, right?
Yeah, exactly. Or break. Is there anything today around success and inspiring wisdom to the people who are watching this program that we didn't talk about, that we should have talked about today?
It's constantly on my screen, on my hard drive that just keeps going around and around. And that is, I just find that so many people are timid today. And I don't know if that's just my perspective or what, but we live in a bit of a culture that is so fearful of stepping out and doing hard things and doing big things. And I'm not sure why that is. I feel like my generation, we were maybe crazy or whatever. We did bigger and bolder things. And I would just, that's my advice, if that's, of value. Take some big challenges. Go after things that are hard. That's where the gold is. You'll reap the benefit of that.
Nice. I think that's a beautiful invitation for all of us to take on the hard. Yeah. Wonderful, Bruce. Well, thank you so much for taking time and hosting us at your beautiful location. As I was telling you before we started the show, my daughter took gymnastics here all the way back in, I think, 2014, and we've had some birthday parties here, and it's been a real important part of our life and our community. So I'm grateful that you're here and doing the work that you're doing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Are there more gymnastic centers that are going to be opening up with your momentum, or is it anything new unfolding?
People keep asking me that. I think our numbers kind of tapped out. We just want to go deeper.
Okay.
We just want to get better at educating parents as well as the value of what we do. That's something we haven't been as good at, just because we've been growing so much and trying to really narrow and take the time to articulate that better.
Okay. Where can our viewers find out more information of all the great programs, services that you're offering in our communities?
Yeah, certainly our website, KelownaGymnastix.ca, that's gymnastics with an X.
Okay.
And then our ninja side is APNFA, Ambition Parkour Ninja Fitness Academy.ca.
Yeah, come down, spend some time at the Kelowna Gymnastix Center. Thanks again, Bruce, for your time, and look forward to many more years of celebrating what you've created.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Thanks, man.